Hey guys, welcome to PhoneArena's in-depth video review of the Dell Streak, which is available right now through Dell directly for the no contract price of $550. It's also available in Europe. The one we have here has support for AT&T's 3G bands and it's positioned to be a tablet, although it does have some smartphone elements like having the ability to make phone calls. Aside from that, we'll check it out and see if it can stand toe-to-toe in being considered an Android tablet out there. When compared to other tablets out there, the Dell Streak is a little bit on the smaller side, even though it is bigger than most smartphones like the EVO 4G or even the Motorola DROID X. We like its minimalistic look. It has some hard lines, and the choice of materials is pretty good as well. It has some hard plastic all around, which is pretty durable feeling, which is combined with the metallic back cover, so you do get a sense of durability with it. It measures in at 0.39 inches thick, which is pretty thin in itself, and for a tablet, it is fairly compact, and you'll still require to use two hands to use it. We like how the edges are tapered off and curved as well. And overall, we're pretty satisfied with the design of the Dell Streak. Powering on the Streak, you'll be greeted to its 5-inch Gorilla Glass display. It's an LCD panel. It has a resolution of 480 by 800 WVGA, and although it does exhibit some high resolution, text is on the smaller side, very hard to make out. It doesn't have that sharpness to it compared to other devices, specifically smartphones like the EVO 4G or even the DROID X. But luckily, you'll still be able to see it, but you're going to have to view it really close. It's also fairly responsive, so it's not going to have any problems registering your touches. And finally, just because of the Gorilla Glass display, it does offer some pretty good protection from when you place it in your pockets. Although the viewing angle is not the best out there, it should be passable for some people. Directly below the touchscreen, you're going to have the touch-sensitive buttons. You got the home, menu, and back. Luckily, they're spaced evenly far apart and a little bit away from the sides, so we didn't have too many problems as far as accidentally pressing them. On the left-hand side of the tablet, you have just the proprietary charging port, while on the right side, you have a bunch of buttons. You got the dedicated shutter key here, 2-level, the dedicated power button, which is recessed, a little bit difficult to make out or press, but luckily the volume rocker here is very pronounced, so it's very distinct to make out with your finger. 3.5mm headset jack. On the front, you also have the front-facing VGA camera, while on the back, you have simply the 5-megapixel autofocus camera, dual LED flash, and when you remove the back cover, it's going to give you access to the battery, the SIM card slot, and the micro SD card slot. Sadly, the only sore spot with the Dell Streak is the fact that it's running Android 1.6 as opposed to newer offerings such as Android 2.1 Eclair or even Android 2.2 Froyo, but at least it offers the core experience you'd expect out of any other Android device. It's powered by a 1 GHz Snapdragon processor, so opening up applications and even scrolling is pretty good and smooth, so you're not going to find any problems with that. The home screen panel is laid out in 4 different panels, and you can move about them pretty smoothly, but unfortunately you can only view it in landscape mode. The typing experience can be challenging just for anyone, just because of the fact that the buttons are fairly small, especially for a large 5-inch display. And although it does exhibit some really responsive rates, we just still feel that it's not as equipped as other on-screen keyboards. Even when you switch it to landscape, although it takes advantage of the size a little bit more, we're a little bit hampered with the keypad here, which is nice for some people, but when you're trying to type something out, it does kind of get in the way. Even the most casual Android user will require some adjusting with the Dell Streak's unique interface. Now, the app panel is located in top left. You got to click the button there. You could scroll through it, and the notification bar is placed on the top. It's not a pull down, so unfortunately you can't do that. But as far as the interface itself, it doesn't seem as intrusive as Motorola or some other customizations out there. You'll have your normal mix of options such as adding widgets, shortcuts, and even your wallpaper, and does integrate with your Facebook and even Twitter contacts. The web browsing experience is more than acceptable as it loads up pages in a good amount of time. Top that renders it just like you see on a desktop. There's no flash support, obviously. It does offer a pinch to zoom, but it's not the smoothest out there. Luckily, scrolling is pretty decent, and you can double tap to zoom into a specific area. And with the large display, it does definitely makes web browsing such a joy. The music player on the Streak is a slight departure from other Android handsets, but as you can tell, it displays the album cover, the song information, and even the on-screen controls. You can reverse or fast-forward by clicking the songs ahead or before it, and if you do a swiping gesture, it'll automatically display all the songs within the album. As far as the sound from the speaker, it is very loud, but you definitely get a sense that it's straining when you place it on the highest volume setting. The media gallery on the handset is definitely nice just because it's rather different. It'll display it in this grid-like form, but if you switch it to landscape or from portrait to landscape, it does give you that 3D-like effect with the cube. Now the great thing about it, aside from the ability to share a bunch of different content through a variety of services, you can even edit the photos that you're taking directly on the handset, and it offers a wider range of options. Seeing that it packs a 5-inch display and a 1 GHz Snapdragon processor under the hood, it makes for a great combination for watching videos. Now the one we have here is encoded in MPEG-4, 1280 by 720 resolution. It does a great job as far as playing it back. Although it doesn't seem as buttery smooth as other handsets, it should get the job done for most people. Luckily, the Dell Streak's 5-megapixel autofocus camera does a great job in taking outdoor shots in sunny conditions. It offers a lot of details and sharpness to it. On top of that, color production was pretty vibrant and saturated, so we're very happy with its production in outdoor conditions. Unfortunately, in low lighting shots, it doesn't do a great job. You definitely see the performance diminish. And on top of that, the dual LED flash doesn't help in any way, even with shots taken from 3 feet away. With so many high-end specs seen with the Dell Streak, it's kind of a little bit disheartening to find that it only has the ability to shoot VGA video, so that's 640 by 480, and it captures it at a frame rate of 20 frames per second. Although it does look pretty smooth, there isn't that much detail to the videos, so if you're looking for something stunning, you might want to look elsewhere. Regretfully, the calling quality on the Dell Streak is pretty abysmal just because of the fact that voices on both ends sounded distorted and muffled. On top of that, on our side of the line, we did notice a fair amount of static in the background, which made it very difficult to hear our callers. When we switched over to using the speakerphone, though, it does produce some strong tones, but it does sound muffled and there's a slight echo with it. If you want something that's going to offer a great battery life, you want to look at the Dell Streak, just because in our test, we managed to get 3 days of normal usage on a single charge, so we're more than ecstatic about that. The Dell Streak didn't have any problems retaining a solid connection to the network during our testing, as it exhibits plenty of bars on the notification area of the handset in high coverage areas. Sure, there are some advantages with the Dell Streak in terms of being a tablet just because of its compact size. It's not going to be as intrusive when you place it in the pockets, but when compared to other smartphones, it's still kind of a little bit on the larger side. On top of that, the experience with the Android 1.6 is a little bit more frustrating and doesn't really play to the strengths of the needs of tablet users out there. We do like its design and it does take some stunning looking photos, and battery life is fantastic, but as far as functionality in tablet space, it's still going to need some refinements to make it a true competitor out there compared to the iPad and even the Samsung Galaxy Tab. So if you'd like to learn more about the Dell Streak or for all the latest cell phone reviews, news, specs, and information, you can check us out at PhoneArena.com.